Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through, the latest insights to bring you those aha moments,
Yeah.
the ones that genuinely expand your understanding. Today, we're diving into some really compelling research. It introduces us to this fascinating biological mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
something one of our sources actually calls a master health switch for your body.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just about general wellness. We're exploring how understanding this could, well, profoundly shift your view on everything, from energy levels to cellular well-being. And it starts with a surprisingly different take on fat loss.
Right.
Our mission today: deliver those surprising facts that might just transform how you think about your body's capabilities.
And what's particularly fascinating, I think, from a scientific standpoint, is watching how our understanding of this mechanism evolved. It didn't start as some, grand theory. It really began with very specific observations, often around outcomes like fat loss, like you said.
Yeah.
But as we dug deeper, it rapidly broadened, revealed a much more fundamental systemic health implication. It truly became this journey, moving from just addressing a symptom to uncovering a root cause that affects, well, almost every system in the body.
So when you first hear that phrase, master health switch, you might think, okay, it's a diet, maybe an exercise thing, perhaps just about losing a few pounds, right?
Exactly. That's the common assumption.
But our sources reveal something quite astonishing. While fat loss often happens, it's almost like a side effect,
The byproduct. Yeah.
because something far more fundamental is being addressed in the body's, like, core operating system.
Hmm.
Now, as someone deep in functional medicine, epigenetics, I know you approach these big claims with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Oh, absolutely.
How did you react when you first encountered these ideas?
You're spot on. My initial reaction was pure skepticism. I mean, really. I didn't come to this through any company's promotion or anything like that. I was, and I still am, driven by just wanting to understand what truly makes a difference. So when I first heard these claims, frankly, they just didn't seem plausible.
Mm-hmm.
But, that skepticism sparked a deeper dive into the research. And that's when the key realization hit me. This wasn't just about fat loss. As a functional medicine practitioner and an epigeneticist, someone who studies how genes get expressed, how they're influenced by environment, lifestyle, my focus is always on the why.
Right. Why is the body presenting this way?
Exactly. Not just what symptoms it has. Why? Think of your body. Maybe not like a simple machine, but like a highly sophisticated car. Super advanced diagnostic system built in.
Right.
When that car isn't running quite right, what does the mechanic do? Hooks up a device, reads the diagnostic codes.
Right, the computer readout.
Precisely. Well, for your body, that diagnostic tool, that prime communication network, is the vagus nerve.
Ah, the vagus nerve. We hear a lot about that.
And for good reason. It's not just any nerve. It's the 10th cranial nerve, often considered the largest, the most significant nerve in your entire system. It connects your brain to pretty much every major organ: gut, heart, lungs, liver, you name it. It has over 10,000 communication points. It's vast.
10,000. Wow.
And here's the crucial part. It reads signals going out from the brain, sure, but an astounding 80% of its function is sensory input, sending messages back to the brain, your body's central computer.
So it's mostly listening to the body.
Overwhelmingly, yes. So if your internal systems are misfiring, if those communication lines are, let's say, garbled or full of static, then your brain isn't getting clear signals. It can't properly analyze what's happening downstairs, so to speak, and it certainly can't send the right instructions back. Things get missed.
That's a powerful image. The vagus nerve as this constant feedback loop, this diagnostic system. So if it's always sending these vital signals, what's causing the static? What's creating those internal error codes in the first place? What's making the body run, suboptimally?
Yeah.
This is where our sources uncover something really compelling, a silent saboteur, perhaps.
Precisely. We need to nail down the core issue, the thing that disrupts this delicate communication. You see, the human body runs on these incredibly complex systems: electrical, oil-based, fuel-based, all integrated.
Okay.
And just like your car needs its oil changed because it gets old, degraded, dirty over time,
Right.
our body's oil, its fats, can become rancid.
Rancid fats. Okay, tell me more about that. Where does this happen?
It can happen throughout the body. We're talking visceral fat around the organs, subcutaneous fat under the skin, even in specialized tissues like brown adipose tissue, bone adipose tissue, nerve adipose tissue. These fats are essential. They have jobs to do.
Right.
But when they go bad, when they become rancid, they turn inflammatory. They become agents of disruption.
Inflammatory agents.
Oh. Now, here's where these bitter acids come into play. And these aren't just, any bitter food. Our sources point to a specific class of bitter acids, often derived from certain plants. Think gentian root, artichoke, dandelion, plants known for bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
They have a profound biological effect. What they do, very specifically, is actually quite elegant. They turn on specific receptors located throughout the body.
Receptors, like docking stations.
Exactly. And when these specific bitter acid receptors are activated, it's like hitting a system-wide reset button, a reinitialization. This turning on allows the body's central computer, the brain, via the vagus nerve, to fully read and understand the entirety of the body again. Clear the static.
Wow. So it's not just targeting one thing?
Not at all. It's not confined to one isolated system. It triggers a widespread cascading impact. We're talking effects across over 1,100 different systems.
1,100.
Yeah. Brain, nerves, hormones, the whole neuroendocrine system, the digestive pathway from top to bottom, circulatory system, lungs, kidneys, pancreas, all of it. It's not about fixing one component in isolation. It's a systemic, holistic reset. It brings the body back into proper communication with itself.
That explanation about how these bitter acids specifically activate those receptors, effectively rebooting the body's comms system.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. But, powerful theory needs real-world proof. Did the researchers just, take this idea and run with it? Or was there serious clinical observation?
Oh, absolutely not taken at face value. No way. Before this concept was widely shared, myself and several other functional medicine doctors, we initiated a kind of pilot phase, you could call it. We eventually observed over 1,000 different patients using specific formulations containing these bitter acids over almost 15 months.
1,000 patients. That's significant.
It is. And what we saw was, well, everything we had theorized, everything we postulated would happen. It did happen. And in some cases, honestly, even beyond our initial expectations. We noticed early on what we started calling the roller coaster effect with some users.
The roller coaster effect.
Yeah. People would feel great after maybe 4 to 8 weeks, really great. So they'd think, okay, I'm fixed, and stop taking the product.
I see where this is going.
Right. Then, maybe 4 to 6 weeks later, they'd start feeling unwell again, symptoms creeping back, so they get back on it and boom, feel better again.
So that up and down actually provided data.
Crucial data. That roller coaster helped us realize something important. People needed at least a 90 to 120-day minimum period, a real trial period, to see the profound, sustained changes happening deep within their bodies. It wasn't always an instant fix.
Okay, that makes sense. Need to give the body time.
Exactly. And we didn't just rely on subjective reports, how people felt. That's important, but you need objective data. We monitored hard measurements, blood tests, saliva, urine, stool cultures, even looking at DNA markers sometimes.
The hard science.
Because, the saying holds true. Blood doesn't lie. Feelings can be deceptive sometimes, influenced by many things. Objective tests tell a clearer story. We could see how these rancid fats were acting as inflammatory agents, literally interrupting those vital signals from the vagus nerve, causing the body's systems to misfire, get ignored by the brain eventually.
Like the communication lines were down?
Precisely. And when those bitter acid receptors get activated, it's like turning the lights back on, reactivating communication across all these systems. Now, the results varied, of course. We saw about 18% of people experience what felt like, freakish, miraculous, quick improvements, almost overnight changes.
Wow, 18%.
But then there was another group, roughly the same percentage, about 18%, who didn't see really significant changes for 3, 4, sometimes even 6 months.
6 months. Why the difference?
Because their bodies simply needed that extended time. They had more internal rebuilding to do, optimizing their circulatory systems, their communication networks. It takes time to repair infrastructure.
That's a really fascinating insight into the real-world application. That variability is key. Now, let's shift gears slightly. For years, decades, the health narrative has hammered home that sugar is the ultimate villain.
Mm-hmm. The big bad.
Right, responsible for basically all our modern health woes. But our sources seem to present a different primary culprit, a surprising, maybe even sobering truth.
That's a really crucial point, and yes, it definitely challenges a deeply ingrained belief. While sugar is absolutely detrimental, let's be clear, it's not good for you. It's not the primary driver, not the number one thing causing chronic disease, illness, autoimmune conditions in the human body, based on our observations and the supporting research.
So what is?
The number one driver appears to be rancid fats.
Rancid fats, again, more fundamental than sugar.
We believe so. Think about how fats become rancid. It's like the oil in your car, right?
Hmm.
It happens from, well, putting in the wrong kind, consuming unhealthy fats, from excessive heat, exposure to UV radiation. And here's the kicker. Interaction with sugar. Sugar accelerates fat rancidity.
Oh, so sugar plays a role, but it's in relation to the fats.
Exactly. And here's the really insidious part. Once fats become rancid, they don't just sit there being problematic, they actively create more rancid fats. And they can even promote the creation of more sugar internally.
Well, a vicious cycle.
Totally. It's a self-perpetuating cycle. And this leads directly down the path to metabolic syndrome, diabetes type 1, type 2, type 3, and ultimately cardiovascular disease, which remains, tragically, the #1 killer in North America. It often starts with this fat rancidity issue.
So it's not just that rancid fats are bad on their own, it's that they kickstart this destructive chain reaction within the body.
Precisely.
And how do the bitter acids,
Yeah.
how do they intervene in that specific cycle?
They essentially facilitate an unwinding process. It's like going in, performing that overdue oil change we talked about, cleaning out the old degraded rancid oil, putting in a new filter, metaphorically speaking, getting the body's circulatory systems and, crucially, its communication systems flowing cleanly and properly again.
Clearing the line.
Clearing the lines. And through observing all those patients, we also gained insights into dosage strategies, how much to take, when to take it. Initially, we started simple, 1 dose a day, then maybe 2. But we found that if you follow a more frequent dosing strategy, taking a dose roughly every 7 hours, something you've kind of termed the plyometric effect, you tend to get even better, more consistent results.
Every 7 hours.
Interesting. Yeah, some individuals, based on their needs and how they responded, even went up to 4 or maybe 6 doses spread throughout the day. And think about the energy aspect. By getting rid of these constant inflammatory conditions, the fire started by rancid fats. You're liberating an enormous amount of energy that your body was previously wasting just trying to fight those fires.
Right, freeing up resources.
Exactly. That conserved energy can then be redirected. Where does it go? To rebuilding and repairing dysfunctional systems. And that is precisely why people start feeling so much better. They report renewed vitality, more energy. The body can finally focus on healing.
This really does sound like a foundational shift. Understanding our body's resilience, taking it out of that state of constant internal conflict. One of our sources even dropped the phrase, Holy Grail discovery in relation to this research, which is a bold statement.
It's bold.
But then it gets even more astonishing when we talk about what this might mean for our actual cells, our DNA, and maybe even the aging process itself. And just looping back for listeners considering something like this, what should they realistically expect? You mentioned the roller coaster.
Right.
Is it ever a perfectly smooth, linear improvement? Or are those ups and downs part of the process?
That's an excellent and very important question to manage expectations. While there is definitely a clear linear improvement over time, if you look at the big picture, the overall trend is upwards. But if you zoom in on the day-to-day or week-to-week, you will absolutely see those ups and downs, those micro fluctuations.
Okay.
The key is each drop, each period where you might feel less optimal, generally won't be as low as the previous low point, meaning overall you are still progressing upwards, steadily improving your baseline.
So the dips get shallower over time.
Exactly. Think of one of our early patients, a guy named Larry. He wasn't necessarily obese, but he had a significant endocrine and neuroendocrine issue. He had a goiter affecting his thyroid function, and his testosterone levels were, incredibly low for a man his age.
Okay.
The bitter acids, by helping clear that internal noise and rancidity, allowed his body to come back towards what we call homeostasis, that state of balance. It enabled his system to begin repairing itself from within. The body started fixing the thyroid communication, the hormone production.
So it wasn't directly treating the thyroid, but enabling the body to fix it.
Precisely. It's about restoring the body's innate ability to regulate and repair. But here's the part that was truly profound, the thing that really surprised even us. Our observations strongly suggest that specific potentiation stem cells located inside the gut.
Stem cells in the gut.
Yes, they can be activated by this process, and they seem to have the ability to repair and regenerate DNA. But not just repair it to your current age's standard, they seem to access the blueprint closer to the way you were born.
Wait, rebuild DNA based on your original blueprint? That sounds radical.
It does. And this is where, medical journals often state that certain conditions, certain aspects of aging or DNA damage aren't reversible. But we are observing a different story in practice. Real people, real changes.
So are we talking about literally becoming biologically younger? like rebuilding newborn cells?
Not quite like that, let's be clear. Even epigenetic pathways, the way genes are expressed, they take years, 6 to 15 years sometimes, to fully develop after birth. So it's not about creating a newborn cells. It's more like, think of it like putting original equipment manufacturer parts back into your car, OEM parts.
The original spec parts, not aftermarket.
Exactly. It's about tapping into your body's inherent deeper genetic instructions to rebuild from. The activated vagal system, now communicating clearly, seems to know exactly where to direct these resources, where to stimulate repair. It helps find the cure, so to speak, within your own multi-generational DNA, helping you rebuild that unique DNA strand.
Wow.
And this process actively seems to reduce the aging effect caused by chronic inflammation and fat rancidity.
And is there a timeline for seeing these deeper stem cell level effects?
Yeah, based on what we've seen, you're looking at maybe 6 to 9 months generally to really start seeing those kinds of profound stem cell mediated effects manifest more obviously.
6 to 9 months. Okay.
And connect that back to energy. When your body is no longer fighting that constant internal war, draining its resources, your mitochondria, the power plants inside your cells, your energy producers, they can finally come back online properly. That leads to that feeling of abundant energy, feeling vibrant, feeling more youthful again. It all ties together.
Wow. This really does sound like a fundamental shift in understanding our own health, our body's potential. So to just boil it down, to be absolutely clear, this isn't some kind of mystical cure. It's not magic, right?
Correct. Not magic at all. Zero magic involved. It's entirely biological. It's physiological. It's the body doing what it was actually designed to do. You're essentially activating the body's own innate ability to self-create solutions or self-repair its own problems, harnessing its inherent intelligence to return closer to its original optimal state if you give it the right conditions and remove the interferences.
Right. Turning on the body's innate ability to fix itself.
That's the core of it.
Okay. So knowing that your body has this incredible, almost mind-blowing capacity to essentially hit a reset button and potentially rebuild itself closer to its original blueprint, what small shift, maybe, could you make today? What could you do to support that innate intelligence in your own health journey? Something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. It's been truly fascinating.
My pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.